Vivian Wilson, the 21-year-old daughter of Elon Musk and his ex-wife Justine Wilson, is finally setting the record straight about her finances, and the truth might surprise many. In a candid moment at the Teen Vogue Summit 2025 on September 20th, Vivian boldly declared, "I'm financially independent, which will love for me." These words come at a time when speculation surrounding her wealth and her estranged relationship with her father have captured the public's attention. Her comments came shortly after a revealing interview with The Cut, where she talked about her financial reality, shattering the common perception that she is swimming in wealth because of her father's success. People might assume that, as the daughter of Elon Musk, the richest person in the world, Vivian has access to unimaginable wealth. But Vivian has been open about the fact that this assumption isn't entirely true. She explained, "People assume I have a lot of money. I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars at my disposal. My mom is rich, right? But obviously the other one is unimaginably wealthy. It's a surprising revelation, especially given the Musk family's vast fortune, and one that might challenge what many have believed about the children of billionaires." So what does financial independence really mean for Vivian? Vivian's journey toward independence is part of a broader narrative about self-reliance, personal growth, and carving out a life outside of her famous family's shadow. Her statement at the Teen Vogue Summit was not just about money. It was about showing the world that she is capable of standing on her own 2 feet. But what does it take for someone in her position to make that declaration? Growing up in the spotlight. Vivian Wilson, like many children of celebrities, has been thrust into the public eye from an early age. With her father's global influence and her mother's notable career as a Canadian author, Vivian was inevitably part of a media frenzy. Her family's wealth, power, and connections made her a subject of public curiosity. But despite this, Vivian has never been one to shy away from being real and transparent about her life. Her statement on financial independence is particularly powerful because it underscores a larger, often overlooked narrative about the children of billionaires. They, too, face their own struggles with identity, relationships, and public perception. Vivian's estrangement from her father, Elon Musk, has only intensified public scrutiny, but her stance on money shows that she is not defined by her father's fortune. A realistic approach to wealth. In an era where social media and media outlets often glorify the lifestyle of the ultra-wealthy, it's easy to assume that the children of billionaires are living a life of luxury, constantly surrounded by riches. However, Vivian Wilson's statement provides a grounded reality that challenges this idealized version of wealth. The truth is, while she comes from a financially successful family, Vivian doesn't seem to have the financial resources that many might think she does. By addressing this misconception, she's trying to shift the narrative from the myth of easy wealth to a more honest conversation about what it means to be financially independent. "I'm making money now, but like crazy," she remarked at the Teen Vogue Summit, showing that she's actively building her own career and generating income in ways that are unrelated to her father's wealth. Her comments reflect a clear rejection of the notion that she lives in the shadow of her family's fortune. Instead, she's focused on achieving personal financial success on her own terms. This speaks volumes about her mindset. Vivian is not sitting back and relying on her famous family name. She's working hard to establish herself. The impact of her identity and transition. Vivian's journey to financial independence is also connected to her broader journey of self-discovery. In 2020, Vivian came out as transgender, a significant personal milestone. Her transition, which was publicly revealed in the media, adds another layer to her story. For Vivian, this transition was not just about her identity as a woman, but about reclaiming control over her life. Financial independence is a part of this journey. By carving out a career for herself, she is showing that her worth isn't tied to her family's wealth or her gender. She's in charge of her own narrative. Her courage to live authentically has undoubtedly been one of the driving factors behind her recent declaration of financial independence. While many assume that a person with such a well-known family has everything handed to them, Vivian is setting the record straight and making it clear that her success is built on her own efforts and choices. Challenges of being in the public eye. It's important to recognize that the challenges Vivian faces are not just financial, they're personal and emotional as well. Growing up in the public eye, especially as the daughter of someone as high-profile as Elon Musk, comes with its own set of pressures. The constant media attention and public scrutiny can be overwhelming for anyone, let alone for someone just beginning to find her place in the world. When Vivian spoke to E! News after the Teen Vogue Summit, she shared her frustration with the public's assumptions. "I just don't like when people say things about me. I assume things about me that aren't true," she revealed. "But people are going to say what they want, and that's fine, I guess. Yeah, it kind of must have bothered me because it wasn't true. That was the thing." Vivian's honesty about how the rumors affect her shows that, despite her wealth and family background, she is still human and affected by the judgments of others. While she seems to accept that people will continue to speculate about her life, it's clear that the misrepresentation of her financial situation is something she doesn't take lightly. Vivian Wilson's journey toward financial independence and her decision to openly discuss her finances come at a time when the public's perception of her has been largely shaped by her association with Elon Musk. Being the daughter of one of the wealthiest men in the world has created unrealistic expectations and assumptions about her lifestyle. However, Vivian's recent comments about her financial independence make it clear that her life is far from the extravagant image that many may have imagined. The public often assumes that people in positions like Vivian's, children of billionaires, must have access to an endless pool of money. Yet, Vivian has stated on multiple occasions that this assumption couldn't be further from the truth. While her mother, Justine Wilson, is financially secure, Vivian doesn't have the wealth that many believe comes with being a member of the Musk family. In fact, her candidness about her finances reflects a desire to be seen as an individual, not just a product of her father's legacy. At the Teen Vogue Summit, Vivian was clear in her words, "I'm financially independent, which will love for me." She emphasized that while she is still early in her financial journey, she is actively building her own income and career. The crazy money she mentioned isn't a result of inheritance, but rather her own efforts. It's a message to the world that she's not relying on her father's fortune, but rather working hard to forge her path. In her conversation with E! News, she acknowledged how frustrating it is when people assume things about her that aren't true. "People are going to say what they want," she explained, but it's clear that these assumptions about her wealth bother her. She explained that what bothered her most was the fact that the rumors weren't accurate, something that many can relate to, especially those in the public eye who have to constantly deal with speculation and misunderstanding. Vivian's decision to talk about her financial independence goes beyond just setting the record straight about money. It's about asserting her identity. She doesn't want to be defined by her family's wealth or the narrative that others have built for her. As a transgender woman who came out in 2020, Vivian has spent a considerable amount of time reclaiming control over her own narrative and identity. Her financial independence is part of this broader goal, one where she stands on her own terms and builds a life that is authentically hers. While Vivian's story is still unfolding, her openness about her financial situation and personal growth is a refreshing take on what it means to be truly independent, even when the world assumes you've already got everything you could possibly want.